I see that the relationship between what's called the Eastern world and the Western world is a very negative one that has a lot of judgment and has a lot of misunderstanding.
And I think that's the biggest problem. It's just we just don't understand other worlds any more than they understand here.
I think many American women get the feeling, and what they see in the media is that Arab women are forced to cover, that they're not allowed to drive, that many are oppressed, that they are not educated or they're not allowed to participate in society. And I think the stereotype, number one, is very, very, very wrong and very unfortunate. I think Arab women are often portrayed as victims, when in fact the women that I've met in the various different countries I've been to are some of the bravest, strongest people I've ever met, and they fight constantly.
Consciously analyze them, we would see how much stereotyping is going on in the Hollywood about Arabs and Muslims. It's very frequent that a murderer is called Ali or Ahmad or Muhammad, and then there is stereotyping about Arabs in their homeland being Bedouins, enjoying belly dancing and almost understanding nothing and doing nothing, which is absolutely unfair to the hundreds of millions of educated Arabs and Muslims actually living not only in the Middle East but all over the world, contributing to the progress of the civilization.
People in the US don't understand this region, and I think that people tend to fear what they don't understand. And I think also that that's another reason why in the US media, TV, movies, news, people in this region are often portrayed as villains. They're not portrayed as how they should be, as they actually are. And I think that's a shame.
The Americans and the West in general were thinking of Muslims and were propagating in the media the fact that those are terrorists, those are extremists, fundamentalists, those who are against democracy, against the idea of accepting the other.
Whenever you're just around with a group of friends discussing what your religion is and you say Muslim, they're like, first thing that pops to their head is, oh, terrorist. And they think it's funny to make jokes. Oh, do you have any bombs? Do you know how to make bombs? Do you know Osama bin Laden? And I'm just like, haha, I laugh it off. Whatever. But it's really like, it's just really heartbreaking, I guess, to see how ignorant people are about the religion.
A Qatari woman who, when we became friends, she started asking me these burning questions she had about American women. She asked if there were American women over age, I think she said 13, if they were virgins, if there were any virgins over the age of 13, if every American woman had to have a paternity test to figure out who the father of her child was, if every American woman slept with each of her male friends. And a lot of these stereotypes came from American media.
And I think that there's just a lack of exposure to different kinds of people, and the ease with which we're able to and willing to accept stories that we're told about other people is part of the problem.
You could really see how, nobody knows the other side at all, especially here looking at there. It really is us and other in that kind of, academic language where we know nothing about them. We know nothing about their culture.
So statistics can only go so far. I think that the way people have to connect is emotionally and through a personal connection.
I think one-to-one personal interaction between people from the so-called West and people from the so-called East would help creating a human face for each other. I think tolerance and appreciating the other for what they have to offer. I think we need to be tolerant to our differences and to respect each other as they are.
We assume that we understand somebody. We're all making mistakes. I think people with the higher ground are people who realize that they can't assume these things and they ought to meet people and actually know them.
Realize, what, Islamophobia is preying on fear and ignorance and hate. It's dividing us. There's nothing positive that comes out of it. These are not the values we teach our children, and we're going to stand up against it. So I think it's encouraging.
To have a face-to-face meeting, even on the virtual platform, it always strengthens this relationship between each other. So, no, we have hope. yes, we can have hope.